Right, 3 wickets in the morning session and three in the afternoon. India are 122 for 6 on day one. Their top six are already back in the dressing room in just 2 seconds of play of this fourth test at the Oval. VVS Laxman and Ian Bell on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. Belly, this has been some all-round bowling effort by England's bowlers. Fair to say they've been relentless.
I think relentless is a pretty good word, isn't it? I think they've been fantastic. They're bowled as a unit. A lot of the time you talk about, the pressure from both ends. Chris Woakes coming in straight away, hitting his straps and, looking like he's been, in good rhythm for a while. So from England's point of view, fantastic. And, they've made India work so hard for what they've got now. And it's just like you said, every time a new bowler starts a spell, they've been right on the money. No freebies. Real good 2 sessions for England.
What were you saying before the game, Lakshman, about offering your services in the middle order if India want them?
Well, I understand that they're woefully out of form at the moment, and they're low in confidence. You can see where the way they're moving at the crease. You see how tentative Rishabh Pant is. We were talking so high about him with his knock in Brisbane, the way he batted in Sydney, the way he batted against England at home, and now he's just not able to find a right solution for the questions which are posed by the English bowlers. He's just in a dilemma whether to be aggressive or to test himself as far as his defensive technique is concerned. And this is something which I'm sure Rishabh Pant requires to work, especially if he's batting at number six and if he has to be successful in English conditions. But overall, I think full credit to Joe Root as a captain. He's been brilliant as far as his field placements is concerned, the way he's rotated his bowlers, and all the bowlers have been very, very disciplined, and the line and the lengths which they're hitting is just making impossible for the Indian batsmen to regain their touch, regain their rhythm. There are hardly any loose deliveries on offer for the Indian batsmen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a point worth making. I think if someone tunes in now and watches the scorecard and sees 120 for six, and you think, oh, here's a repeat of another bad batting effort. But Lakshman, if we put it in context, while Headingley could be looked at as a bad batting effort, are you a little more sympathetic perhaps today? You saw Virat Kohli's wicket. You mentioned Rohit and Rahul in the first session, just getting good balls. Today has been really tough for India's batters.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. And it is more than the conditions. I think the quality of this English bowling lineup, all of them as a pack, as a unit are in high confidence and great rhythm, because that's sometimes unplayable for the batsmen, because there will be times when you have two out of the four or five bowlers in great rhythm, and then you'll have one or two who will give away runs and just release that pressure. Whereas what we have seen, barring this first 20 minutes from Jimmy Anderson with the new ball at the start of the day, the Indian batsmen were just struggling to get anything loose, and whenever they capitalized on it. How many balls were shot? If you see the pitch map, the kind of lengths this English bowlers have bowled consistently is just unimaginable. I think the discipline, the rhythm, the confidence, and above all, I think also they're very patient. They're not looking for wickets because they know that on this surface and with the kind of confidence level the Indian batsmen have, as long as they put the ball in the right areas, they're going to get rewarded. And that's what exactly they're trying to do.
I mean, you made the point just before we went live, Belly. It seems like just good, honest bowling by everyone. There's no release bowler here.
No, you're right. And VVS is right. I think when you get the conditions like this and they're in your favour as a bowler, you don't have to try too much. You don't have to search for magic balls. Let the pitch do the work. You just hit an area as many times as you possibly can. And that's what all four of the English seamers have done really well, bar the first half an hour where the ball didn't quite swing as much and then the lacquer came off and just started to do a bit more in the air. But again, it came down to the basics of just hitting the top of off as many times as you possibly can. And again, in England in particular, in county cricket or in test match cricket, that works more often than not. It's not always about express pace. It's about accuracy and skill, getting the ball to move sideways. And England has been outstanding today.
Virat Kohli's wicket, you thought that was the key. You saw Virat Kohli is concentrating so hard. The cover drive was being played with more judiciously today. But as you look at that innings and that wicket, Lakshman, what are your thoughts and your observation? Just got a Jaffa?
Yeah, it was an unplayable delivery according to me. I think Virat Kohli was just finding back the rhythm. He has done all the hard work, and just when the time came to capitalize, and once he got to his half century, I think it was a peach of a delivery, and it deserved a wicket. And I think England will be really happy because they'll let off Virat Kohli when the game resumed after lunch, but then it didn't prove costly because these kind of challenges or this kind of situation will get the best out of top class batsmen. And Virat Kohli is a top class batsman. So the way he was focusing, and especially after that reprieve from Joe Root, I just felt that this innings would be the one which again will get back the confidence in Virat Kohli's batting. Probably we will see a three-figure mark. But at the right time, England broke the partnership and got the wicket of Virat.
Just on your thoughts on that, Belly, it looked like he was determined, and that point Rohit Sharma makes again. You're never quite set, are you? Even if he's got 50, even if he's got 60, just seems like you get a good one at any point.
And that's generally with the Duke's ball in England. It always feels that way. Again, it can swing for periods, especially if you've got overhead conditions. It can be hard work for periods of time. And if a bowler and a unit bowl well, it is hard. Like you said, I think the rhythm was coming, wasn't it? Bit by bit, you could see he looked nearly back to his very best as well. And, you know, sometimes, again, you need a little bit of luck. You need to miss those balls or they need to go in the gap. But England at the moment, it's all going with them at this moment in time. But, you know, again, you look down the list and again, it's that kind of pitch. You talk about heading, you're never quite in, and you've just said it there. And it is like that. Everyone's got a bit of a start, but not quite capitalised. And again, you know, this, we're not talking about probably 300, 350s par, 280, and you are in the game. So from now on, India have got to try and find a way to get to 200. If they do that, and they try and restrict England to 280, they're still in this test match. So again, how they go forward is going to be important. But yeah, from Virat's point of view, there were signs there that the rhythm was really coming.
It looked like hard work for all of India's batters, but Ajinkya Rahane's innings also was a bit of a struggle. Lakshman, among all the wickets that were good balls and unplayable, what about Rahane's one? You feel like he could have left it? It seemed like it was about fourth or fifth stump. You have to play those?
Now you don't require to play at those. You know, when you're out of form, you know where you can get out. You know, and there's no doubt that sometimes as a batsman, you don't want to be out of form on these kind of wickets. You know, because there's no chance for you to regain the rhythm, no chance for you to regain the confidence back. You know, I think if there is one area which Ajinkya Rahane will be really disappointed is you get out to a good delivery like the way Virat Kohli got out, that's fine. You know, but you can't go and chase the ball wide outside the off stump. That is something which is in your control. Sometimes when the ball nips back in from length and from the off stump line, it is sometimes, you know, the ball deserves a wicket. Whereas if you're chasing at the ball, and if you're playing so much away from your body, then I think that's something which you can control, and that's where I think Ajinkya Rahane will be really disappointed.
Belly, it's not the first time we've seen him get caught, behind the stumps of the outside edge.
No, and I thought the one thing with today, it was just that little bit extra bounce where it hit on the back was right at the top corner of that outside edge. So I'll give a bit of credit to Overton. Again, another tall guy like Robinson gets that extra bit of bounce on this service. But yeah, again, the whole success out of batting in England in particular is you've got to be able to leave well. That fourth stump, fifth stump, you've got to own that channel and be really disciplined. If you're going to go with a cross-bat shot for a cut shot or you're going to leave well, but you have to own that fifth stump area. And that's I suppose that's always happened in Test match cricket in England. The right way back, the players who do well can really, like I said, leave the ball well and own that channel.
So and Raunak, just to add on that, when I talk about the batsmen are low in confidence and they're very tentative, you see the same Indian batting lineup when they played the World Test Championship against a quality New Zealand fast bowling attack. And I believe the Southampton first innings, Southampton was the most challenging conditions any batsman can get. And you see the kind of confidence, the way they were leaving the ball, how good was their footwork, they knew where their off stump is. Whereas if you see Ed Headingley, which I think was a placid wicket, and probably the best wicket on this tour so far, and then even in this innings, you see how tentative was the footwork of all the batsmen. They were not sure where the off stump is. So it is not necessarily boiling down to their technique, but it is more to do with their mindset and with their confidence level at the moment. And that's something which the English bowlers are really capitalizing on.
It seems like that lack of confidence is spread across that batting lineup. How do you score runs then in these circumstances? Ian Bell, you've scored plenty at the Oval. Maybe not as challenging every time at the Oval as it is today, but how do you score runs in such conditions?
Look, I suppose, as we said, I think leaving the ball, being able to own that sort of, I suppose, that fourth, fifth stump area is really important. Again, for me, I think what England have done really well, for me, on these conditions, if anyone is slightly short, your cut and pull come into play, and you have to be able to cut and pull quite well. But England have given no drag down balls to get away any cuts and pulls, so that's the exceptional bit. And you've got to be very careful on the drive. You can drive as your innings goes on. But again, I suppose you've got to find a way of putting pressure back on the bowler. If you're trying to survive and you play tentatively, a bowler's just going to stay there and thereabouts. I suppose the question is, as a batting unit or a batsman in these conditions, is the bowlers. And like I said, for me, and again, being a slightly smaller, shorter batsman, the cut shot for me was what I'd look for. If they missed length short, I wanted to either late cut, hard cut, and really put pressure on the missing the length slightly short. But if you can't score off that length, then it's going to be hard all day, because that area around dragging you forward is where the bowlers want to bowl. So I think credit to England, they've been exceptional, but that would be my game plan, is if they miss short, I'm going to go kitchen sink with a cut shot.
Lakshman, they're not getting a lot of bad balls. Is there anything else that they can do to just get out of this?
Yeah, I think probably use the crease much better, but we have to give credit to the English batsmen, English bowlers, the way they've been bowling throughout this test match so far. But I just feel that, standing outside the crease, probably just forcing the English bowlers to change their length, and which you saw even in the World Test Championship final, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, both of them standing almost a yard outside the crease, and then probably forcing them to change the length, and then you can probably play some shots on the back foot. I would like to see Rishabh Pant play his normal game, because the way he's batting at the moment, I think any moment he can get out. So I would like him to use his feet. Yes, he may look reckless, but it's just about changing the momentum. At the moment, the entire momentum is with the English side. The bowlers have been in exceptional form. So I would just be a little bit more proactive, because if you're over defensive and if you're going into a shell, then any moment you can get out, which is happening exactly at the moment for the Indian team.
Yeah, you get that feeling. It just does not seem to be the Rishabh Pant of the last straw. Yes, Belly, please.
So no, I think that's a really good point. This now isn't going to be about batting time. This is about scoring runs. So I think VVS is exactly right. This test match now, this next partnership for India, for someone like Pant, is how are you going to score runs? Don't worry about surviving. Try to get this partner, and it's all going to be about, like I said, not the amount of time batting. It's going to be scoring runs and finding ways and being proactive in your own way. And I think that's a really good point, especially on these kind of pitches. If you're just trying to survive, you're going to get one at some point. So you might as well try and be as proactive looking for runs as you possibly can.
Well, you think Rishabh Pant will try that? It's not been a happy day for India's batters. Let's pick up the chat at stumps. Thank you, VVS Lakshman, Ian Bell. And we'll resume this chat on ESPN Cricket for Match Day. The end of the day, 122 for 6. Can Rishabh Pant change momentum, find some batting form of his own? Will this be England's day through and through? We'll find out in stumps.